And it almost seems impossible. Think of the future. Think about like a year from now. What would that be like? No, I don't want to think about a year from now. It sucks now. It's like somebody, slamming their hand, in the door or something. And that friggin' sucks, right? That's terrible. And it's like trying to tell them, hey, it's going to be okay. No. Shut the hell up. The hell are you talking about? It sucks. Let me friggin' deal with it and let it suck. I'm allowed to let it suck. So, you are. But the reality is, when that becomes consistent, that becomes our mindset, that becomes like our default, well, that's how you're always going to be then. I'm not saying you shouldn't allow things to suck. I'm not saying you should just be in like, Wonderland, make pretend, make believe land. No, you need to be real. Your experience is your experience. You need to be where you're at with it. However, regardless, we need to also realize the reality that we are experiencing at this second may very well, in fact, be a completely different reality if we attended to our current reality or moved forward with attending to our current reality in such a way that our future reality will be thankful on how we worked with our past reality. So much so, we could look back at our past reality and be like, holy friggin' crap, I was able to move through that. And when you can do that, I'm going to say you could almost do anything within reason of your capabilities. Because the idea is, we don't think we're capable. We don't want to think we're capable. And that's very real. But that's not realistic. Realisticness means, what are you actually capable of doing? Which you don't realize you're capable of doing. That's realistic. As long as it's realistic and not something, my reality eventually will be significantly better and profoundly, impactful on my life and maybe the lives around me. No, that's not as realistic as saying it will be better. Now, it's not to say it won't be significantly better. We don't know. But that's why it's important to be realistic. And the whole point of adding a realistic approach to this, it allows us to contribute to where we are, with who we are, with where we're at, and allow that while contributing moving forwards to a possible different reality that may be better. Doesn't mean it's going to be, but I'm going to say the possibility of it being better drastically improves when we move in that direction. When we stay still, and that is the continuous approach, I don't see really where that's going to take us, except in the same spot we are at. Where in fact we could be in a different spot, one where we're like, this is better, even if we were to look behind ourselves and say, where I wasn't much different, but we could definitely for a fact say this is better. And that's the idea, because if you can get to that better spot at some point and say, yeah, this is better. Like that person who's in the bed or, debilitated because their leg is broken. If they were maintaining the proper way of trying to improve that, they could say maybe even a year later, yeah, I feel a lot better. I have better mobility. I still struggle. I still have a limp. I still have fear. I still have anxiety, but you know what? I am doing better. Holy crap. Just a little bit. So it's very deceiving. It's very deceiving to look at the future because we don't know the future. But I'm gonna, I don't want to put a guarantee on this, but I'd like to put on the likelihood. It's more of a likelihood that you would look back on your past experience, even, at some point, and be like, I'm better. Maybe I'm not where I want to be, but I'm moving in the right direction. And that's a hell of a lot different than not being there and saying, this sucks, and do nothing about it. So you get to actually have a choice here. And it doesn't sound easy. And that's why you need to continue. You need to continue. You know, I'm gonna explain like a very sad thing here. People commit suicide. This is a known fact. People want to commit suicide. It's a known fact too. And that sucks. It more than sucks. That's we all know that's just one of the worst things. And we're all going to relate to it differently because of our life experiences. So I'm not going to get into it. But the bottom line is, that person who committed suicide, they were in the worst place of their life. The worst place. The worst! How long has that been going on for? So yeah, great advice. Continue, move on. Yeah, really good advice for someone whom life fucking sucks. So much so, they gotta end it. Do you understand? They end it. They end this. They end it. It's over. Done. I am done with this. That's the reality. But here's the thing. Just saying. Okay? Now this is no way of prescribing a way of being here. But the reality is, when you're in states like that, there's no way you can be realistic. There's no way you can look at reality realistically. You look at reality in the distortion that you're in. That's reality. So considering that, you need to have the truth. Your reality is based off your current way of experiencing it. That's what it is. Your reality is dependent completely, 100% on how you're experiencing it. That reality can change. That's the truth we need to hold on to. No matter what, that's the truth you need to hold on to. No matter what's going on, you hold on to that truth. That will get you through. Because that's the truth. There's no lying about that. There's no denying it. However, when we're in a reality that is so, fixated on what you're going through, that's real. There's no denying that. There's a truth that just can't be seen. It cannot be believed. It can't be valued. It can't be appreciated. It can have nothing. In fact, it will be attacked like a piece of garbage. And that's normal. But the deal is, people who commit suicide, and I'm not devaluing people's emotions with this, okay? Because this sucks, and I hope you realize that I'm coming from a standpoint of like how much this is the totally worst experience that anyone could ever be in life. But the idea is, okay, and as simple as it sounds, so I'm not trying to undermine it all. You don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. You don't know what a week will bring. Nobody has any clue what's going to happen in 5 minutes. Nobody has any clue. Do you understand that? We have no clue. We act like we have all this time. We act like we have everything put together. We plan for the future. We think of tomorrow. You might not have the next 5 minutes. We don't even consider that. We don't consider that this very second. We don't consider this very second. That second just passed. Are you appreciating your seconds? And of course, you're not going to be able to when you're completely in such a debilitating state. Of course not. So you don't become unrealistic. That's not realistic. Oh, think a certain way, you'll feel better. That doesn't sound like it's going to work. Can't just feel my way out of something that I'm feeling, I'm experiencing. So the reality is, whatever we do to improve that, we don't know what the future holds. And the unfortunate part is, people who commit suicide, how do they know that they could have been the happiest person they would have ever experienced to be? Within like 6 months. Does that sound realistic? How about within a year? Now, it only sounds realistic if there is an approach that's considered and taken, not taken too seriously, but consistently. Consistency equals how you will be. Consistently. You consistently are a way, you're going to be a certain way. That's all it is. For good or for bad. You're consistently going to be a good way, a healthy way, a better way. Maintain that, it will consistently be that way. You consistently be a way that's not, you're going to consistently be that way. And this sucks because we can't see through the reality we're in. And that's just reality, okay? And there's no shame about that. But realistically, we don't know what the reality will be of us tomorrow, mentally, emotionally. And then we don't realize the reality of there's also called short-term progress and long-term progress. We don't look at that reality. Am I going to be the same person with the same mindset, the same beliefs at the end of this year? And sometimes we stay the same year after year after year. Maybe that's good, maybe that's not. But the reality is, that's what occurs. Can we move towards a consistency of improving something? Certainly. Is that easy? Hell no. But you can, is the idea. And if you can, even if you don't want to, just do it. Just do it. Because that will be the difference between... that could be the difference between life and death one day. And we don't even know it. Because we've never practiced consistency. We've never maintained consistency with something. Realistically. So my challenge for myself, and my challenge for you, and anyone, you're the only one that could do any of this. So realistically, work towards what I like to consider improvement regarding our lives, so it can stay maintained, and eventually, if we work through, or we get out of, or we come into some form of acceptance, or whatever it is, and our mental state seems to be better at some point, and we can realize, damn, I'm glad I didn't quit. Damn, I'm glad I kept maintaining. Damn, I'm glad that I've, improvised. Look where I'm at now, which is hard to see, because that's in the future. So we start now. Because before you know it, time just continues. It's not waiting for us. It doesn't care. It's just a a thing that we give a name to. It's just existence. And we have to be able to relate to this idea that, nothing is stopping to wait for us. So we're going to continue being the way we are if that's the case. But you ultimately, realistically, get to determine how you're going to be. Easier said than done? I totally get it, okay? All easy sounds all friggin' easy. Anyone can talk. But the difference is who's going to try to work at themselves in a way that is realistic and helpful. That can actually, they could look back on and say, I'm happy I did work on some of these areas, because it's actually part of my life and it's helping me, even if I'm still struggling. That's the idea. Anyway, appreciate you listening, and I hope all's well. Keep on keeping on, and sounds friggin' easy. It sucks, but that's just the current reality. And I just wish you the best with whatever's going on in your life. You deserve it. You always deserve better, and so give that to yourself. Because if you don't, who's going to? And even if somebody was going to, is that how we're going to depend on? Maybe we need to. But at what point are we going to give it to ourselves is the idea. At what point? Anyway, take care, and wish you the best in your life too.